It's early in the season and teams are still searching for their shape and rhythm, but every point matters. Each result helps determine who will qualify for the division playoffs and take a step closer to the national stage. From Snellville, Georgia, it's Soccer Saves Lives taking on Dalton United. I'm Massimo Ballou. Thank you for tuning in. And as we know, this year the Premier has been divided in Zone 1 and Zone 2 for a total of 15 teams. We've seen some shockers in Zone 1. Kalanji Pro Profile lost 8-3 against Atletico Buford, promoted team from Division 1, and that tells you how competitive this division is becoming. Even teams coming from Division 1 are competitive, are able to play against a team like Kalanji Pro Profile, which has been extremely successful over the years. But let's go in Zone 2 because that's where Dalton United and Soccer Saves Lives are. We saw Potros beating North Georgia United for 4-1, and all the goals were scored by Nazario Mbomio, who was the top scorer last season. Absolutely amazing season in spring, and he started in the best possible way. Potros, let's remember that they won the Premier last year, so of course they're the ones to beat. We saw LSA Norcross beat SSL 5-1. SSL coming from a tough defeat. They saw the goals of Leon Diouf and Carlos Horta, and on the SSL side, actually, Azam Kassam scored, and it was a beautiful goal. He dribbled and sprinted in the box and closed on the opposite post. Unfortunately, that's not the result he was hoping for, and I'm sure if he could switch up that goal for a better performance from his team last week, he would absolutely do it. But we're getting close here, and SSL has an opportunity for redemption. I haven't mentioned who Dalton United has played against because they haven't played a game yet. Their game last week against Atlanta United 2 was postponed, and because of that, this is their first game of the season. The ball will be of SSL. They're wearing a blue jersey with golden numbers. On the other side, Dalton United in white and red. Long ball, and we've seen this starting in the Champions League final. This is a new technique that has been started by Luis Enrique. Paris Saint-Germain Inter, we've never seen that in soccer before, but of course it's all based on the game of pressure, and soccer has evolved so much over the years. We went from the catenaccio Italiano to the tiki-taka in Spain, and now Luis Enrique in France invented this new style of pressure, and SSL started very well here. Ball in the middle, shot, and the save by Angel. Good start for the team coached by Alan Red. They're playing with a 4-3-3 today. Luis Vasquez in goal, starting from right to left, Diaz, Gapia, Aritsky, and Chavez. And then in the midfield, we have Ozegebe, Duncan, and Kosoko. Finally, in the offense, starting from the right wing, Workman, playing striker Adeniyi Costa, and on the left, Jason Hall with number 10. Of course, we have the formation placed by Jose Gonzalez in goal, Angel, and then they're playing with a 3-5-2. But let's go back to the game here because Hall has the ball. He changes it. Ozegebe tries with a contrast to win it, and then shoots. What a save by Angel, who needs to stand the full way to get that ball, which was about to kiss the post. Corner kick for SSL. Absolutely a strong start. Exactly what Alan Red wanted to see from his man after last week. It's the first game of the season, and of course, you need time to figure out who you are, figure out the new players coming in. But it looks like SSL has been having a completely different approach so far today in Snellville. Here comes the cross in the middle. Looking good. And the ball goes out by about 50, 60 centimeters. And ideally, we would have somebody from the United States live who translates centimeters and whatever measurement you guys use over here. Going back to the formation of Dalton United, Angel in goal, 5 in defense with the left and the right wing who will be pushing in offense. We're talking about Frank and Neri. The 3 defenders, Chris, Noah, and Victor. In the midfield, Marco, Camilo, Leo, and then the striker, Eric and Jeep. Marco. Chris. The ball goes out. Exchanges here, a little bit of confusion. Diaz, Clash puts it down, and then goes back to Chavez. Kosoko a little too slow there. Through ball that goes exactly where he wants it to be. Cross goes back, layoff, and then with the left, can't get power to it. Jeep tried coming back from the midfield with an overlap. Of course, Neri saw him coming from the back. He tried to close that shot. He closed it a little bit too much, and the ball went wide. So Luis Vasquez can't relax and look at the ball as it goes out. Chavez moves on with the ball and then continues the possession for SSL. Long one here. Costa tries to run for it, but it's way too far. He still tries the contrast. But it's Dalton United's. Here comes Diaz. Could look for the through ball. Instead goes long here for Costa. Beautiful job by Kosoko, but the referee doesn't agree and gives it a foul, free kick. And it goes without saying that the midfield of SSL is very physical, but they also try to play with the velocity of Costa up there. Adeniyi Costa, the Nigerian, who's looking for his first goal of the season. Gapia. Another long one. It looks like this is going to be a strategy by SSL once they receive the pressure. It's either a strategy or a lack of better ideas. We've seen that, especially with the way soccer has evolved lately. It's hard to construct a game from the defenders when you have so much anticipation and pressure coming from the offense and the midfield on the counter position. Deserve the tribute to the stadium here in Snellville. Great football tradition, but today it's about soccer. Chavez. Goes for Hall. Chavez again. Gapia tries again for Diaz. The ball doesn't look bad. Costa gets on it, and I think there was a handball. That's what the referee says. Another free kick. Angel. Victor. Goes in the middle. Jeep conducts the ball. Goes wide again. The ball is perfect. One-on-one. chaos with the defending. Cross in the middle, gets there. Gapia puts it out. And then Jason Hall puts it on the side. And with some confusion and some insecurity, the ball gets back to the goalkeeper of SSL. Chavez back to Gapia. He needs to be careful because he's under pressure. Jason Hall. Chavez. Gapia. Pardon, Ozebeki. Who called for the foul. He said Eric was opening his arms a bit too much. Diaz. Looking for solutions by himself. Goes away from two players, Diaz. Creating superiority in the number of players. Great play by Ozegebe. Still ball in for Costa. Looking for options. Find a beautiful through ball. Diaz. It's a terrible ball lost and gives the opportunity for the counter. Wasted that time of play there. But SSL, Dalton United gets the possession back. Costa could go for the shot. He does. But Angel is in the goal. Runs back fast enough for that ball not to be a problem. You know, looking at how fast Angel was getting back into the goal, maybe Costa could have found a different solution. Switch of game. The ball stays in. Here we go. It's Agebe. Passes in. And Jason Hall tries to get on it. Here he goes. Jason Hall, one-on-one. Twisted around. Shoots it. Deflection. Bomb from the distance by Ozegebe. Tries to get that power shot. Fun game so far. It doesn't seem like any of the two teams is absolutely imposing itself on the other one. Chances on both sides. Gapia lets it out. And the ref called for a throw. I think there was a misunderstanding over there in the middle of the field. It was an offside. Offside. Ball goes out again. Diaz puts it down with speed. Ozegebe. Chavez. Trying to find some movements in between the lines. 1-2. Jason Hall. Chavez. Goes back again. Gapia again with a long one here. Back. Beautiful pass that goes in between the legs of Vallejo. Workman again. He's not offside. He keeps the ball, goes back. And that's not a great stop, which gives the opportunity for Jeep to go. Keeps it in the field somehow on the pressure of two and then loses it. Chavez. Tiki. Nobody goes on that ball in the middle, and then it's kicked on the referee's back, and it'll be up to him to decide whose ball it will be. And because it was kicked by a player of Dalton United, it goes back to Dalton United. The only doubt there would have been that the ball was going in the direction of players of SSL, and that's a bad pass. Diaz can take advantage. Here he comes. Passes to Costa. Costa loses that frame of time to pass the ball on the other side for Workman. Dalton United struggling a little bit here, especially as they build their game in construction phases. We are at the 15th minute of the game, still 0-0. Fun game to watch. And plenty to happen. Diaz looks for an odd solution. He did receive a foul there. Dalton United players protesting for that one, but the referee is clear. Ozegebe. Chave. Yes, here he comes. Switches on the left. Jason Hall could go in the middle and twist that ball. He does, just like I said he would, but then he's not able to give that impact on the ball. He tried to get a good bend, but of course, when you don't have the angle, it's hard to give it power. Wide ball here for Jeep. Jeep touches it well and then loses that chance to shoot it. So goes back to Leo. Leo then here he tries to keep it in and he does, but gives it back to SSL. Wonderful play by Workman. Here he comes. Workman with speed, pace, power. Workman. And that's a penalty kick. Penalty kick for SSL. Beautiful run from side to side of the field. He probably ran for about 40 yards and then got into the box. Clear foul. Yellow card. It probably could have been even worse. And Diaz is there. Ozegebe plays the ball, but Diaz will be taking it. So far, the best player in the game. Let's see if he will confirm his performance with a shot. Looks like Workman is not doing too well. Still on the ground. That was a great run by him. Great run. And these are tense moments for strikers and in general players who are about to kick a penalty. The wait, the longer it is, the more the nerves tense up. And here comes Diaz. Diaz against Angel. Ref blows the whistle. And Rafael Diaz, SSL 1, Dalton United 0. And that is absolutely deserved because in the last 10 minutes, SSL has been putting up the performance. Diaz puts it in 1-0. And this is where it all started with this wonderful run by Workman. It was a clear foul. They had no way to stop him. The only way was clearly to tackle him down. But the referee couldn't avoid that and gave the penalty, which Rafael Diaz transformed with no hesitancy. Now it's on Dalton United to build game, and that's a terrible ball lost. Costa, Costa, Costa! Oh my God, Costa again can go for the shot, and he does! Adeniyi Costa! Total blackout for Dalton United, and SSL, of course, takes advantage. Unbelievable mistake by the center back of Dalton United. Costa's been chasing those balls all games, and he was rewarded here. Mistake by Victor. He gets away from the goalkeeper, shoots, deflection. You think it's all over, but he gets it back. Great play, and that's how he wanted it to go from the beginning. 2-0, Rafael Diaz and Adeniyi Costa. Definitely difficult when you're playing an away game and things don't start your way, and a mistake like that can be very heavy on the sorts of the game. Workman goes away with a wonderful skill. Absolute class by Workman. He deserves one now. Decides to pass it for Jason Hall. Another tackle in the box and another penalty. What is happening at Snellville? Chaos for Dalton. But I must say, as a viewer of soccer, what Workman just did, the Jaden Workman, he went away with an absolute piece of class play, passed it to Jason Hall, and we would need a closer up VAR. That is, of course, a tough tackle in the box. You don't do it unless you're desperate. But they were, because there was no way to stop Jason Hall, who will now be taking the penalty. Important for Angel to save this one. Jason Hall puts it on the right, calls all his teams to celebrate. That's goal number 3 for SSL. That's goal number 1 for Jason Hall. And it's incredible how a game that it played out, of course, a little bit better on the side of SSL, has turned into 3 goals in about 2 minutes. Something you see very little in soccer, but it definitely has to do with the mental component on the Dalton side, because they were putting up a good game, and they need to get their head up and work their way up to a goal which would give them hopes to find solutions. Again, Victor playing a little bit too much there with the ball, probably to avoid after the terrifying mistake that got him to lose it on Costa. And it's incredible that the man of the match, the one who broke the game, Jaden Workman, hasn't scored yet. He would for sure deserve one. A change of pace of another category. But here comes the mistake of Dalton United. They need to take advantage of this one. Touches in, shot deflection. Here he comes. Ball for Workman. And they need to be careful now because he's showed what he's able to do. Passes the ball in for Jason Hall. Jason loses it. Again, this was absolutely another example that SSL is not impeccable. They have received 5 goals in their first game. They played magnificently so far, but the mistake is always behind the corner, and you just need that one goal to get yourself in the right mindset to score another 2. Another ball taken back by Costa. Diaz in front of the goal. He could chip it. Decides to go on the left, and this was probably a bit of a push by the goalkeeper. The referee this time turns around. It would have been comical to see 3 penalties given in about 6 minutes. Workman. Jason Hall, Workman. Here he comes on the side. 1-on-1 against Noah. Costa. For Rafael Diaz, the ball still goes on in the box. Odzegebe. And then it's cleared. Very difficult moment for Dalton United, but they do have talent on their team. And that is proved not only by, oh wow, the game goes on. Workman in front of the goal, shoots it! 4! Goal number 4, Jaden Workman. I was calling for the fact that he was playing better than anybody else on the field. Did we have any doubts that he was going to miss that? That was as smooth as the back of a spoon. 4-0. And this free kick was played very quickly, but again, this shows how mentally detached Dalton has been after receiving their first goal. The only argument they could make on their side right now is that the ball was slightly moving, and by rules, the ball needs to be still when it's played. But the referee took a different decision, and Dalton pays for their lack of attention. And now it's going to be a very difficult game to get back. We've seen it in this league. You can't allow yourself to be out of the game even for 5 minutes, because this happens. Jason Hall. Now every time the SSL go up in the opposition side of the field, it feels very dangerous. It feels like they can hurt them every time. But as I was saying, Dalton United has plenty of talent. They were the only team that made it to the U.S. Open Cup third round of, playoff contention. And it's a big competition, the U.S. Open Cup, because it allows for professional teams and non-professional teams, semi-professional teams, to play together, and that always builds for some beautiful stories. We've seen it in the past in soccer when the underdog beats the updog. We've seen it recently with Manchester United. As I was saying, we've seen it recently with Manchester United as they lost their game against Grimsby Town. After they went to extra time, they tied 2-2, and then they had to go to penalties, and that's where they lost the game. And that was, of course, a humiliation for Manchester United, but something that makes every soccer player want to continue to do what they do, because there's nothing more beautiful in sports than stories like that. Luis Vasquez. Gapia. Chavez. Loses it. And there's a foul there. Good spot for the free kick from about 17 yards. It looks like Eric is putting it down. And Jeep gets close to the ball. Even Victor gets close to the ball. 3 men on that ball. They need this free kick. They need it to go their way. It's a good distance, but not too far. Good opportunity here. Here he goes with the right. And the ball goes out by not too far. 30th minute on the clock, 4-0 for SSL. The best comeback they could have after that 5-1 they received last week. And it goes without saying, that's absolutely not how Dalton United want to start their season. Chavez. SSL all over the place now. DS for Workman. Workman tries a play, goes on the right. Could cross in, but he's marked here. Incredible play, and nobody takes advantage of that. Here we go. Ozegepe kicks it with his left, is not able to close it enough to let the ball hit the post maybe on the first post and hit the net. Counterattack, Dalton United. Calling for an overlap here that doesn't go the way they had hoped. Triangle. He can reach it. Crosses it in. And it goes that way on the other side. Ball blasted away. Game is stopped here. Of course, we hope there's nothing serious for Ozegepe. Little break here. We're in the last days of summer. It's not as bad as when we were calling games on May. That one was getting tough out there for the boys, and the sun is still not hitting too bad. But I'm sure none of the players on the field right now were bothered by taking a little break since the game has been so intense. Ozegebe gets it back. Kosoko. A little too slow there. Beautiful play by Frank. Ball back to Luis Vasquez. Ozegebe. Good little touch there. Diaz comes down to get it. And then now Jason Hall. Not the best stop, and he tries to go by himself, but he's surrounded by men in red and white. On the left, maybe he could get a throw, and he does. Jason Hall changes it. Here comes the shot from the line of 20. No worries for Angel. Shiloh goes back. Of course, SSL is slowing down the game now. They have no interest in wasting energies, as the season is still long now. Wide open, Jason Hall here, one-on-one. Crosses in, Workman. Never good to hear from the fans of Dalton United this game. But here they get the ball back and counterattack. Nettie. Goes back to Frank. And Diaz takes that one too. Creating game. Taking away balls, passing the ball throughly perfectly to Jason Hall. Now he can go. He's in front of the goal. He's in front, and then a beautiful tackle by Marco. That was a good reading by him because Hall was going at full speed towards the goal. He was about to open that right foot, hopefully curving the ball and bending it on the right. But Marco came in with a clean tackle, and there's no discussion here, no penalty. That was perfectly on the ball. Good defending. And here we are again in the box of Dalton United at minute 38 with Kosoko crossing the ball in from the corner, placing the ball in, raising his left hand. All the players in the box are ready. Here it is. Ozegebe can go for the shot. He does. Angel. That's the most beautiful save of the day. And that's by Angel, who's going to need to do more of those if his team doesn't continue to put up with the offense of SSL. Another corner. This time it will be Diaz. And he's going to go with his left. So, of course, it's going to spin and come back in. Here it comes. Angel once again pushes it out. Then the ball is kicked very far. Bad pass here. Of course, Frank takes advantage. Opening up with a through ball. And beautiful reading by Chavez. He's been doing a very decisive job there on the left. Very attent. Very careful to all the phases of the game, offensive and defensive. Speaking about that, Rafael Diaz. Now he can try the bomb from the distance. He's tackled, but he keeps it. Costa. Xavi. Hall. Xavi. Kosoko. Xavi. Back to Gapia. Costa gets it with his chest. And the ref calls for a foul. Probably opened his arms a little bit too much on that jump. Neri. Going from right to left. He's done this a bunch of times during the game. That's a bad ball lost by Jeep, which gives another open space for SSL. But they took their time. There's no hurry. They can manage the ball. Let the players of Dalton United run around and chase it. And you wonder what this game would have looked like if there hadn't been that total blackout. Of course, we need to take into consideration that Dalton United only has one player on the bench, but that's not really something that influences your game in the first half. Hall. Kosoko. To be careful there. He gets out of it with a sombrero. It's a bad pass by Hall. First of his game. "42 minutes into the game, which is at this point going one way around. Unexpected. Probably neither one of the team would have seen the game taking this shape and form this early, if at any time. Hall, he decides to go once again by himself, and then when he passes, he finds Chris. And so it's a throw. Dalton United. Leo with the through ball. But the speed on that side is too much. Costa. Unbelievable. I would love to see a statistic of how many times the striker of SSL gained the ball back for their team. Too much space. Too much space. SSL can do whatever they want right now. Costa. Another through ball there from the side of Dalton United, but it always feels like the left back and the right back for SSL are on their feet to take every one of those coming. They had been successful in the first 10 minutes of the game where 2 or 3 of those passes went in, but then it became predictable. And of course, easier for SSL to understand their defensive tactic to bring on during the game. Long one. Costa jumps. And now it's a good chance for Dalton. We'll see how they stop this one. That's a perfect header. Perfect header by Lucas Duncan. And that is definitely a yellow card. .46th minute. We'll see how much added time the referee will decide to give. Of course, there were several goals and those take away from the time of play. Vasquez played it, but the ref said, you need to wait for me to let you do that. Here we go. Lucas Duncan. Yes, this time loses it. One last chance maybe for Dalton United before the end of the first half. Gone away. They need to be careful now. Costa. Workman, maybe that is offside. And it was. And it was. Not by much. Probably a foot or two. But that was offside for sure. Ball open back. Out wide. Layoff. Gone as desired. The Hall. Kosoko. And Dalton United again. It would mean so much for them to find a goal right now. And Vasquez is keeping the ball. Nobody goes on pressure on him. He has no interest in playing the ball. That's why the offense of Dalton United should go and press him. Workman. Against everybody, Workman. This time they stop him for a second, but it's not over. Rafael Diaz. Workman goes down. Hall. Angel reads the situation and grabs the ball with his hands. But not good signals coming from Workman. The ref calls the end of the first half. SSL 4, Dalton United 0. We will see each other back in 15 minutes, and hopefully we will know more about the conditions of the man of the match so far, Jaden Workman. See you in 15. And we're back on. Unbelievable first half which absolutely showed how prepared SSL was to this game. We see a substitution, number 5 coming in, number 18 coming out. So we'll see right back, number 5, Louison coming in, and Artsiki coming out. We've seen SSL very compact. We've seen them scoring 4 goals. The first one by Diaz, Rafael Diaz on a penalty. The second by Costa, who took the ball right away a minute after they scored that first goal. He took the ball away from Victor, who was trying to play it among his defenders. And then he confronted himself with Angel, dribbled him. Then Noah, the center back, also had the time to get back to him, dribbled him too, and then shot. Beautiful goal, 2-0. Then we saw, incredibly, another penalty taken by Workman this time. Hall transformed that into a goal. And finally, Workman, the man of the match of the first half, was able to put his signature on this game and find the goal of the 4-0. Dalton United, of course, not looking their best today. It is their first game of the season, and it does take a little bit of time and preparation, especially if we're considering that this is an away game, that it's hard, logistically speaking, for teams coming hours away into a new location to put up their best team. But I'm sure that Jose Gonzalez is expecting much more out of his man in the second half. Out wide on this side, beautiful play. Passes it back, Duncan. Shoots, Duncan. It's a goal kick, but it's not football, so it's out. Trying to find his man in the midfield. And this is going to be a great opportunity for SSL, considering the result, to try new things, tactically speaking. Move the modules, understand what players can contribute in what way during this season, because there are many games to be played. Played back. Chris, so many SSL players around them. Dalton way too slow and unbalanced as they look, as their midfield is not able to cover that area of the field, which doesn't allow them to construct their game of play. SSL again, chance in front of the goal, skipped over, and the goal is offside. Costa probably knew it. He decided to continue. You don't want to be that player who stops thinking they're an offside and then missing a great opportunity to hurt the opposition. Eric switching it up. Now Frank goes up wide. Frank again. Switching up in the middle. Diaz puts it down with elegance and class. And Hall keeps it in. So here comes Costa. Waits a second because we had a player offside. Costa again. Unbelievable how tenacious this player is. It's players like that who create opportunities out of nowhere, getting the ball away from the defenders of Dalton United. He's done that for the goal he scored on the 2-0, and he's going to continue doing that because of course it's paying off. And this is a great chance, good opportunity. Not stroked well by Jip. The ball was bouncing oddly, and the space to hit that ball on a volley looked easier than it actually was. Duncan was long for Costa. And even if he knows he's not going to reach that ball, he's still going for the run. That's the type of player that makes the coach always proud. You know, and if we consider that you never know who the 11 will be, who will start in the game, you need to see that in practice. And you might have a better player in practice, but if you see a player like Costa running back and forth the way he is today, it's hard to compete. Because you know you can always expect something out of him. Attention here for Dalton United. Leo can close it and doesn't give enough power to that shot. He knows he could have done better. There's a player on the field. I believe it is Odzegebe. Daniel Odzegebe. Long one for Costa. He's definitely not going to get himself out of that one. One-on-one. Costa. The ball goes out. But it looks so in from this angle. Another great run, another dangerous run. And the referee says there was a touch by Angel. So it will be a corner. I wonder how long Costa will be able to do those runs. He's been doing it all the first half, and they play it quick here. Rafael Diaz. Not able to put it in. But here they go with possession, trying to move the ball from one side to the other. Kosoko. And the goal, Kosoko crosses in. Costa runs forward and keeps it in. Costa by himself. Costa. Deflection and corner. The tone of the game doesn't look like it has shifted. It's still SSL applying pressure. And all the defensive problems of Dalton United. Here it comes. And with the confusion in, a shot was delivered by Jason Hall, but Angel was ready this time. Counter-attack for Dalton United. Long ball played. Precision missed. That's a mistake by the defender of SSL. So Eric passes it back. Eric again. Tries to change on the other side. But proper defending on the SSL counter side doesn't allow it. Let's look at this replay. Corner kick played. It seemed like there was a clearance, but not a proper one. Going back into the game here with SSL clearing the ball out. Coach Gonzalez with a volleyball play, gives it back to his team. Both coaches sitting on the bench right now for two different reasons. Probably Alan Red, out of relaxation, he knows he has the game in his hands, and on the other side, Jose Gonzalez thinking of what went wrong today, knowing that not too much can be changed in these last 40 minutes of the game, 35 minutes of the game. Kosoko. Beautiful ball by Kosoko. It's a 2v1 and the offside was called in. I would love to look at that replay and see if the players of SSL were in line or a little bit above. Let's give it a look here. Very creative ball by Kosoko, and I would argue that Victor on the other side was keeping the man in play. Hall could go for the cross, stops it, goes back, passes in. Diaz and Dagna post! Unbelievable. It continues. Everybody comes out, and there might have been a handball. Yes, there was. Costa would have scored that one, but the handball stopped it. Another yellow card for the defense of Dalton United. And another penalty. We're about to break the world record of penalties in this game. Pure entertainment. Let's see who it will be this time taking it, because we had Diaz taking the first one, and then we had Jason Hall taking the second one. I would imagine Costa would deserve to take this one, as it was his shot going in. But it's not. Here comes 5-0 SSL. They're giving back the ones they received last week, and they go even. What an incredible afternoon evening for the men in blue, who've been putting up a beautiful performance offensively in the midfield, creating a beautiful build-up to all their plays, and with the fantastic attention that they had in defense. It was Ozegebe who scored goal number 5 for SSL. And it's even hard to say that the ref was tough and strict on those penalties, because even the players of Dalton United didn't go complain about them. There was never a discussion whether those were real or not penalties. Ozegebe tells Diaz to go back, and so he does. Really, Dalton United is going to need to be careful to not allow other ones. But here they come on the look for the 5-1. Frank, it looked really good for a second, and then the cover up by Ozegebe was perfect. Duncan on the left with a through ball. Hall, he's done that, one-on-one. Comes in, cross, deflection, out. Hall again, Diaz with the back of his foot, but it's still SSL. It's still Ozegebe. He could pass the ball back to Luisson. But he finds Ozegebe. Ball on the other side for Xavi. Duncan goes in. Angel catches. Very little movement coming from Dalton United as they try to create something new. Of course, it's not easy to play when you're under 5 goals psychologically. It feels like you have half of the energies that you would if you were on a different result. There's a foul there. Kosoko was jumping and he was pushed. Leverage there. Eric knew that. Gave them a handshake and continue the game here. Another ball for Jizen Hall. Hall. By himself, Hall. Goes with the right, Hall. Tried the individual solution. Found the gloves of Angel. Frank. Offside. He went for the shot. Ozegebe. That's a risky one by him. They risked doing the same mistake Dalton United did, conceding the second goal, but they came out of it with more luck. Here's another one-on-one. Shot could come in. It's a fake, and then it feels like it's never coming. Here it does. And the build-up was not worth the conclusion on that one. It looked very good as it was happening. But the finalization there didn't occur. Through ball in. Kosoko. Gapia. Somehow keeps it in. Neri. And then Duncan, who's showing off a little bit more in this second half. Fantastic ball. Costa. Costa makes it long. Shoots it. Costa. Adeniyi Costa. Second goal for him today. 6th. It's a tennis result at this point. Game, set, point. Another fantastic through ball that went through the midfield of Dalton United. Then Costa kicks the ball. It looked for a second as if it was going out, but it kissed the post and then went into the net. And that makes it 6-0 SSL. we're talking about the games happening in Zone 2. We had, of course, Potros beating North Georgia United 4-1. They had a blast of a season last year. They're proving to want to do the same this year. And then we had LSA Norcross beating SSL 5-1. We had Scenic City that came back from Division 1, tying against Birmingham FC. Birmingham FC wasn't even supposed to be running this year in the Premier. They had been relegated last year and were supposed to play in the Division 1. And that's a beautiful veil. Not taken by Frank. That was a great chance right there. But as I was saying, other teams dropped out, and Birmingham FC was happy to take this. Rafael Diaz. They both fall. Foul by the man in red. It's a good position for a free kick, maybe more for a cross than for a shot. But it looks like Kosoko is coming right in for it. Is he going to be the one who takes it? After this game today, we have Kalanchi Pro Profile playing against Georgia Athletic SC. That's a big game right there with Kalanchi. If I know Kalanchi Pro Profile, you might get them once, but it's going to be really hard to see them not perform in 2 games in a row. So, of course, they're going to play completely different. Completely different soccer. The ref takes the distance, places the spray, and it's on Angel right now to set the wall. Angel, if you notice, he's not wearing his gloves. But if you saw the movie of Pele, Edson Arantes dos Nacimiento, there were scenes of the movies where he was playing the best soccer you could see with his bare feet. Here will come the free kick. Kosoko and Diaz on the ball. Kosoko goes for it, but it's Diaz who shoots it, and it's a corner. Angel tried to catch it, but the ball slipped away from his hands. And so another corner for SSL. And I see man getting ready on the blue side. I think there's going to be 3 or 4 substitutions happening after this corner, played by Diaz. Kosoko even thought about the bicycle kick. Hall! Nice idea by Hall. The execution didn't reward them. And in fact, it's going to be Hall coming out. That was his last shot of the game. And I see Odzegebe leaving the field too. Together with Costa and Diaz. Yeah, Koliba coming in. Fidai, Nassim and Lopez also coming in. penalty kick. In the meantime, twist of events. And we'll look here as it goes on. Jeep in front of Vasquez. In Italy, we call it il gol della bandiera, the goal of the flag. Jeep. Here he comes. Jeep puts the first and only goal of the day so far. And they try to go grab the ball in a sign of, yes, there was a foul here by Luisson, who came in the second half. Played well so far. And then a lack of attention there allowed for Dalton United to find their first goal of the game. Look at that perfect execution by Jeep, who sends Vasquez on one side and the ball on the other. (6-1) right now, the 71st minute of the game. Four penalty given. Apia goes away on the pressure. Marco trying to invent. That's a beautiful ball by him. Camilo. They go back and switching it. Frank tries to shoot it. And once again, they're not able to create fear in the area of Vasquez. SSL lacking of attention right now. Of course, the result has them 5 up. But Dalton United could, of course, take advantage of some of these. This said, it's going to be very hard to reopen this game, if not impossible. Here are the players of Dalton United calling for another penalty. I mean, at this point, they figured out they're coming, and we're up to set a record, so why not ask for one? Nassim. Duncan. Nassim keeps it and receives a foul too. There will be another substitution here. This time, the only substitution that will occur on the side of Dalton United. Number 21 comes out, number 17 gets in. So Nettie comes out, and Ray jumps in the field. For a foul, but the advantage goes on, and this is, of course, a free kick. Kosoko went out. Diaz went out, and they were the ones taking the free kicks in the first half. So maybe Gapia will take this one. A lot of free kicks given. A lot of time to be practicing on these shots. Here it comes. Way too high. To the stars. Maybe we won't see Gapia taking another free kick. Nice through ball here on the side. Nice ball for Jip. Here comes the chance for Dalton. And the clearance by Koliba. Saves them, but it's not like Dalton United doesn't have opportunities to create and own another goal. But here's a foul in offense. Right now playing at the same time of this game, FC Birmingham, Patros FC. FC Birmingham was sitting at 1 point in Zone 2, while Patros FC is at 3. And it'll be interesting to see how that game develops. Another chance for SSL. Quick passes. Shot again. Deflection. Corner. Ball played back. Risky there for Gapia. But if there is one time to risk, it's now. With the result on your side, you know if you receive even another goal, it won't be a tragedy. However, I will say they have a 0 on their goal difference after, well, actually, now they have a +1 on their goal difference after their start of the season where they lost 5-1. And so they might want to keep it that way. But it won't be like that if Jip puts this one in. The ball goes out. He has been given opportunities today, Jip. Only one has been transformed into a goal. See the ball coming from the side, the through ball, and then Jip came in front of Luis Vasquez. And unfortunately for him, missed it by kicking it to left compared to the left post. 79 minutes on the clock. We'll probably only see another 11 minutes of game. I do not believe that the referee will add time after the 90 minutes of regular game. Gapia kicks the ball long. Other opportunity for SSL. Let's see how this one will develop. Another shot from outside the box, another deflection, and it's a throw from the right side. Louison. Ref indicates to go a little back. He did gain some yards. Song goes in. Angel. Good timing by Vasquez. Was able not only to keep it in, but to make it playable for his man. Duncan. Kepia. Beautiful triangles and 1-2s. Ball opened out wide. Opportunity and wonderful defending. Wonderful defending again by Marco, who was protagonist of a fantastic tackle on Costa in the first half. He did it once again here. If you need to get one of the men coached by Jose Gonzalez to be remembered in this game, it needs to be Marco, because it looked like in defense he was the only one who had the clear moments of understanding of the game in regards of the offense of SSL. He's had good timing, good readings. And if it hadn't been for him, it definitely could have been an 8-1 at this point. Two very important saves. And Angel here falls on the pressure of the SSL striker winger, Lopez, who came in for Workman. Of course, there will be many developments coming up from today's games. And then there will be some midweek games. And if you want to know how it all develops, you need to go by the Back Pass podcast with Andre Bomar, and he will guide you through the process and all the things that are happening in the Premier League. Nice exchanges. Ball for Lopez. No luck. It really has been a game determined by two factors. One, the absence of many players for Dalton United who couldn't make it today in Snellville. And then two, the concession of that first penalty kick and the allowance of that second goal right away, with Victor losing the ball and Costa sentencing for the 2-0, which quickly became a 3-4 and 5-0 without Dalton United even realizing. There were 5 minutes of blackout where they received the 3 goals, and that did shape the way the game turned out to be. And it looks like Gapia is not feeling the best. It's the last thing you want to see on such a result. You can definitely pull back from the accelerator. Has to be replayed. Lucas Duncan trying to find one of his teammates, and somehow he does thanks to a deflection. Duncan, Nassim. The two look and find each other. Then they go on the left. Looking maybe for a last goal. And this might be the chance to get it. Corner kick. Minute 86. Very little to play still. Much to be taken away from Dalton United, who will reconsider and look back at this game and try to figure out what didn't work in order to achieve wins as they have in the past this season. Ref doesn't whistle for the foul, so Dalton United can go, and that's an unfortunate touch. He wasn't expecting to receive the ball in his feet. Camilo was going towards the goal. Didn't see that coming. Duncan with a through ball, and Angel was there. He knew the ball was going out of play because it was an offside, and that's why he grabbed the ball with his hands out of his box. Here comes Frank. That was a nice attempt there, right, Frank? And good reading of the ball direction by Luis Vasquez, who made it look easy. Nassim opens out wide. Again, a game of speed. Nassim could probably go for the shot. Decides to go for the pass. Maybe a little too generous there. Nassim. Foul there. Played quickly. Cross in the middle could come in by Lopez. It looked like a shot, something in between a shot and a cross. But of course, Angel has it in his hands. And that's a clear foul on Gapia. A yellow card out of frustration probably, because there was no need to do such a foul at this moment of the game. A little bit of tension even by coach Jose Gonzalez. Let's look back at it. Dalton United trying to come out of their side of the field. Gapia gets the ball back, and as he passes it, there's a clear foul by Victor, who's not had his best game. And we can give a look back at this one with Victor passing the ball to Frank from the line of the 20 yards, 22 yards. Nice shot. The power was there. Maybe needed a little bit more of the side of the goal to impress Luis Vasquez. Three minutes of added time. Against the odds, the ref decides to go for it. They didn't understand each other here. Luisan and Lopez. Luisan was looking for that cut in the middle between the two defenders, and that's why he tried to get that through ball in. But Lopez wanted something else. He wanted the ball on his feet. Clear misunderstanding between the two. Not definitely complain after this game that you haven't seen goals. We've seen goals of all sorts and kinds, especially from penalties. Well, this is a very promising game for SSL. That's an awkward way to try to stop that ball, but somehow works. Here it comes, and Lopez with his shot. Not over. Somehow it always ends in the hands of Angel. Good job by Dalton United coming out of there. Let's see if they will find time for a last opportunity. Only 1 minute left to play. Frank. Nice play to go away from the pressure of Nassim, then changes the ball. But Luisan is there. And Vasquez catches. Oh, he could try a shot from outside. The goalkeeper was not in place there. Didn't take the chance. So here comes Dalton United again. Frank looking an individual solution, but ends up passing the ball, crossing the middle. Gapia puts it out. Could attempt that shot from the distance. It's a fake. And then a foul is committed. And that will be probably the end of this game. And it is. We hear the three whistles of the referee. SSL 6, Dalton United 1. Thank you for listening.
This has been a presentation of the UPSL. Any use of this broadcast without the written consent of the Atlantic Soccer Media Group is prohibited.